start now? Oh, it does. Hey. Okay. Hi. I am Ryan, also known as Backlogathon, and what I want to do tonight is whenever you watch a fighting game tournament, sometimes you'll see a setup that appears on stream, or maybe you've gone to a tournament and you've sat at a station and you sit there and you start playing, and there's all kinds of visual stuff going on sometimes. Or the station isn't prepped 100%. It feels like maybe something is missing. We've run into it before. You go to a tournament and you find out that, oh, this DLC character is not there, or people run into problems with something, or somebody logs in as the wrong user, that sort of thing. What I want to do is I want to just go over some basics on how to take a PS4 and change the settings before you bring a setup to a tournament. So the setup is nice and clean. It does the things you want it to and not the things that you don't want it to, and is usable as a stream station in case there's no stream station there already, or say you're the one who normally would bring the stream station. You want to go ahead and improve what's going on there. I want to just go through some of that stuff and talk to you about that, show you some of the settings. If you have any questions, feel free to hop in chat. I've got a window open. We can talk about it here. I'm going to go ahead and VOD this after I'm done so that people can take a look at it and they can go through it and run their setups. So let's switch over to... All right. So here we have a PS4. And the first thing that I want to bring your attention to is the login screen. So when you bring a setup, unless you're willing to drop 2 times the money on your setup, you are going to have all of the games that you have installed or purchased underneath your personal account. So the first thing is your personal account cannot have a passcode on it. You don't want it to have one because it can happen. Maybe the stream needs to restart. I've had a PS4 lock up before in competition. I've had people accidentally log out of the account and have to log back into it, and the passcode does nothing but slow them down, and if you're not there, then they're stuck with a station that doesn't work. So the first thing you need to do, and I know this is kind of counterintuitive, is you need to take your account and you need to make sure that it does not have a passcode on it. You also want to make sure that there is something that draws people to use that account. So you might want to let them know that this is who you are. You could change the real name on the account to indicate P1 or P2, which is something that I've done before. Another thing is, this is an account that I have set up, and a lot of people who run tournament setups, especially if you run anime games for obvious reasons, they will have PlayStation Network accounts that are set up in different countries so that they can buy games that are in their home region. These accounts should be passcode protected, because if you log into the wrong account, it's going to cause all kinds of problems as well. A good example is when you're playing Street Fighter V and you go ahead and log in. If the account that you're logging in has not gone through the tutorial, it will lock people into the tutorial and they'll have to go through it. So what you should do is, and especially if you're the person providing the setup, go into the setup, borrow a stick, plug in 2 controllers, and you want to go ahead and log them into the 2 accounts that you're going to use. In this case, on this one, I use myself, and then I also use STL East 1, which is just our Player 2 account. It's our P2 side. So I'll go ahead and log into my account. Now, here's something that I like to do as well, and that is you want to make sure that people who are sitting at the station, or you, if you're supporting the station, can identify whether the correct account is logged in at any given time. So it's a good idea to have a different background, a different theme, or a different theme color selection if you're using one of the default themes. So for instance, if I log in using my other controller as East 1, and then, oh, I cannot control the system now. Oh, really? Oh, no, I can't. Okay, so East 1 just has the plain blue background if I switch to it. And so here now I know, oh, okay, I am in the wrong system. So we'll flip back to mine, which uses a red background in the first case, and then uses the Akuma backdrop from S2. So we know, okay, this is the one that I want to be using when I log into my station. So first things that you want to do with your station, and what you want to do is go to settings. Now, Let's double check and make sure we got these. Okay, notifications, huge pet peeve. I'm probably not the only one who feels this way. What you want to do is you want to go to notifications, you want to turn them all off. Everything here needs to be turned off. And the thing about this is that this needs to be turned off for any account that somebody might be using on the station. And that's because this stops all the nonsense from showing up. The zoom in notifications that come in from the left side of the frame. For things like using the share button, or when you go into some areas of the game, if you go into a pause menu or some other settings menu, it'll say, oh, well, you can't broadcast this stuff, and pop up the thing there. Or somebody earns a trophy and the trophy notification shows up. Or God forbid you've connected the system to PlayStation Network while you're playing, which you shouldn't do unless you have no other choice. Then that's not going to work. Because you'll get additional things. Friends come online, things pop up, that sort of a thing. So what you want to do is you want to disable the pop-up notifications pretty much first thing. That's your first option. Now, let's see. You are also... Let's say all this stuff is fine. You may want to change the screensaver setting so it doesn't start. That's an option. Sharing and broadcasts. Here's another good one. Okay, share button control type. The default behavior of the share button on a PS4 controller, and it's not super easy to hit on a pad because it's up here by the D-pad, and it's a little bit recessed, so you have to kind of work at it to push it. On some fight sticks, it's bad. It's in a bad spot. It's easy to push. Sama buttons don't have a very deep activation. So sometimes, look, people are going to do it. They're going to accidentally hit the share button. You have to do something about that. So what you want to do is go to share button control type. And the normal setting here is standard. And that is when you press the button, it pops up the share menu and it says, what do you want to do with this screenshot you just took? Or do you want to take a screenshot? Instead, what you want to do is you want to change it to the easy screenshots option. And the easy screenshots option is super great because now if I press the share button, which I'll do in just a second, let me double check and make sure. I think we're good here. Yes, we are. Okay. If I press the share button now, nothing shows up. Okay. I took a screenshot when I did that, but two things happened. First of all, the menu didn't appear. The screenshot just took. And the second thing is you may notice when you take a screenshot with the share button, there is a pop-in notification that comes from the left-hand side. That did not appear here because I turned off my pop-up notifications. Oh, there is one more thing that you need to change. I almost forgot about it. And it is in sound and screen. Oh no, where is it? Oh, come on, me. Oh, video output settings, no. Oh man, now I'm not going to be able to find it. Oh, it's in system. That's right. Okay. Hi, here it is. Enable HTTP. You need to turn this off unless you have been specifically instructed otherwise. This should be off if you're going to be if you're going to bring the setup to the tournament. You never know when you might be called upon to be a stream station. You need to turn off HTTP, and you should do it before you arrive, because if you don't, if you hook your station up to be streamed, first of all, it's not going to work right away, obviously. Second of all, if you change this setting, in order to make it work properly, you have to soft reboot the console, which just adds time to the whole process. So what you should do is you should turn this setting off, make sure this is off, and then reboot the system if you haven't already. Make sure that you're bringing the system with this option off already. Okay, so those are the very basic system settings that you want to change before you bring a setup to a tournament. What I'd like to do is I'm going to, let's cover Street Fighter V since it's going to be the most common, and of course we're going to boot it up, which will take a while. I hope everybody's having a wonderful night. I have my window open and a fan running in St. Louis the day after Christmas because it was downright tropical here today. Not normal. Come on, 5. Let's go. Okay. Log into the server. If it's working today, it appears to be. Come on. Oh, okay. All right. So, pretty basic settings that you want to change for Street Fighter V to just make things a little less painful for people. First thing is going to be going to... Oh no, we don't need screen settings. No, we do not. Okay, we're good there. Other settings. Pause menu display should be Type B. The reason for this is everybody knows tournament rules. If you pause the game, it's an immediate forfeit. If you set pause menu display to Type B, it requires the person who wants to pause to hold the button instead of tap it to bring the pause menu up. It's super annoying if you're trying to do training mode by yourself, but in a tournament, this will prevent losses. Plain and simple. Just go ahead and set this to Type B. Okay. The other thing that you want to do is you want to, before you bring your setup, and I'm not going to do this right now because I don't want to walk over there and unhook it. You should disconnect your console from the internet connection and go to training real quick, because this will allow you to verify that you have local access to your stages and your characters. So if you don't have access to a stage, so these are stages that I haven't purchased yet. If you don't have access to them and you're offline, they will not appear. You don't get the shopping cart icon. The stage bar just isn't there. And with characters, if you're offline and you don't have the DLC installed, they likewise will not appear in character select. So you just want to go to character select and training very quickly, double check, make sure you have all the current characters. If there's something that you need to download, now keep in mind that when you turn on Street Fighter V and you're connected to the internet, it will automatically download any patch data that's necessary before you can sign in, so you need to make sure you have the most recent version. As you can see, you can check the most recent version up in the top left of the screen here. Version 2.0 is the current release of Street Fighter V, and you just want to make sure that you have all those things set up before you bring the setup to the tournament. Alright, let's also... I'm less familiar with, but it would be a good idea to talk about Xrd too, because there are a couple things that you can change. And of course, if it's a new game, you want to make sure that you have already gone through any tutorials that are necessary. You want to make sure that you, if you're a stream station and you like having a lot of unlocks for people, then you go ahead and do whatever you need to run through unlocks, get colors, that sort of a thing, which is a lot easier for something like Xrd than it is for something like Street Fighter V. And the cool thing about Xrd is people will unlock colors as they play the game. So you get people that go into Versus, they'll unlock color. They'll give you world dollars so you can unlock things later, which is pretty great. So just go to config. Let me find it real quick. Let's see. See, I have everything set up here for me to blow through things to make my money so I can buy things. Turn the handicap off. So you're in battle settings, handicap settings. You want to turn that off. That will remove the handicap feature. You won't even see it. I'll take care of that. Make sure everything else is... So you want to make sure everything else is at default settings. 99, 299. Close that. System settings. Okay. That is not where I want it. Display settings, no. Button settings, no. I swear I thought... Maybe not. I thought there was a hold option here too, but maybe there is not. and that would be okay if there's, I won't have to worry about it. I will have to mess with HUD settings later. How far can this go? That's actually really nice. Okay. I'm going to do some playing with HUD settings here, actually probably in a little bit, and then I will also make a video for that as well. So, nope. Okay, that is it. You just want to make sure that you... I think it's just helpful to have handicap settings off because then nobody can accidentally set handicap. It's that easy. So, alright, that's it for Xrd. That's a very, very brief, very, very simple look at setting up a station to be ready for a tournament. Disabling the notifications, that needs to be done for every user that you're going to have active on the system. So when you have a P2 user, and you have to have a user for P2, when you have a P2 user, then you need to make sure that you go into that account as well and you turn off the notifications and you have those blanked out. And what that does is it's a lot less distracting for people. Those things can pop up in the middle of a match. It's very annoying. It causes people to not think about what they're doing. It pulls them out of the situation. So you want to make sure you have all the kind of flashy things turned off as much as possible before you bring the setup to the tournament. So that's it. That's other games are going to have settings for this as well. Yeah, go ahead and take a look at the options for your favorite game. If it has the ability to delay the pause button, you want to do that. If it has the ability to not ask for handicap settings, which many games do nowadays, you want to make sure that's turned off as well. And I may do another video that talks about setting up what you need to do to unlock colors, what you need to unlock costumes, that sort of a thing. But we're about 15 minutes into this one, so I'm going to cut this one off. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me a tweet. It's at Ryan Markel, Markel, or you can send me a message on Twitch. I'll listen to those. Just let me know, and I can cover it in a future update or talk about it. There'll be a blog post involved in this as well. You can find my other entries about FGC at ryanmarkel.com. I write about it fairly regularly. Once again, ask me any questions you have. I'll be happy to answer them for you. And the idea is just to make sure that more people can bring good tournament-ready setups that don't require a whole lot of fiddling, to make sure that they're ready both to be non-distracting to people who are playing the game and also to be ready to be set up for streams. So thank you very much. Have a good one.